My name is Meredith. I was 24 working the night shift at a tiny gas station off County Road 11, the kind of place people only notice when they're out of gas or horribly lost. I took the job because it was quiet, predictable, safe, or at least I told myself it was. It began on a Thursday night around 1 in the morning. The air outside was wet, all edges softened by fog. The overhead lights had been humming at me for hours. I was about to microwave a cinnamon roll I didn't even want when the bell chimed. He walked in like he didn't belong anywhere. Mid-40s, green coat, hair like he hadn't combed it in a while, dry lips. He didn't go for the coffee, didn't root through the chips. He just stood near the counter and looked at me with this familiarity. Not friendliness, not exactly menace, just like someone who'd been keeping a note. Then he spoke. "You always work this late." I tried to keep my voice normal. Yeah, mostly?" He smiled, tiny and tired, then said, "I figured. I've passed through a few times. Noticed it's always you." That unsettled me more than I let show. And then he did something that froze me in place. He said my name. Meredith, right? I wasn't wearing a name tag. He pointed to the whiteboard where I'd scrawled, "Cinnamon coffee is back," and said, almost casually, "Most people dot their I's like circles. You use little slashes." Very specific. Thoughtful. He didn't buy anything. He didn't even browse. He just watched me, studied me, like I was part of some puzzle he wanted to solve. Then, without a word, he left into the fog. But that wasn't the last time I saw him. Not even close. He came back, again and again. Not every night, not so often that I could call it stalking out loud. Just often enough that I never stopped thinking about it. Sometimes he came inside, sometimes he sat in his car at the edge of the lot with the headlights off, just watching. One night, he lingered at the counter. He looked around slowly, like he was cataloging everything. Then he said, "It must get lonely. Just you out here in the dark, no one else for miles." I tried to sound firm. "I'm fine." He tilted his head. "You ever get scared? Being a woman alone at night?" It wasn't the words that scared me. It was how he said them. Soft, curious, like someone commenting on the weather. Neutral, empty.
Then he added something that turned my stomach. "You always keep the back room locked. I noticed you check it around 2 a.m. almost every night." I hadn't told anyone about that routine. Not my friends, not my manager, nobody. But he knew. And that wasn't the worst of it. A Polaroid turned up next. I came back from a 10-minute break and found it on the counter. A photograph of me, taken from right behind my car while I filled the windshield washer bin. Too close. The word windshield on the bin had a tiny slash on the eye, the same kind he'd noticed. Someone had circled it in red ink. The next time he came in, I confronted him, told him to leave, told him I'd call the police. He didn't argue. He just smiled softly and said, "I get it. I've been too forward. You just seem like someone who's used to being misunderstood." I picked up the phone. My hand shook as I dialed. He didn't even stop me. The police came fast. He didn't fight. They searched his car and found a notepad filled with dates and times, my schedule, my walks, my groceries. One page was just my name, written over and over until it twisted into illegible scribbles. He told the officers the same thing again and again. "I just noticed things. I'm just a curious guy." There was a restraining order. The company moved me. I didn't work nights anymore, didn't live in the same town. I thought distance would help, but you can't move away from the memory of being watched. Even now, when I drive home, if headlights follow me too long, I feel the back of my neck tingle. My hand grips the steering wheel too tight. My heart races. Every long stretch of light behind me feels like him. And then one night, unpacking a box I'd brought from the old station, I found something I shouldn't have. At the very bottom, beneath some papers, was a small notepad, the kind he had. My stomach dropped. I told myself it must have been a mistake, that the police missed it, that I should turn it in, burn it, throw it away. But I didn't.
I kept it on my nightstand. At first I told myself it was closure, a reminder of what I survived. But sometimes I would open it, flip through the pages, study the way he wrote, the way he circled things, the way he paid attention. And slowly, I started noticing things too. I told myself it was for safety, for awareness. But watching looks a lot like paying attention. And paying attention looks a lot like knowing. Then, it happened. One evening, a woman came into the station. She bought something quick, scribbled a little note on the counter for me. Out of cinnamon. Her eyes were tiny slashes. My heart froze. That night, I flipped open the notepad I had promised myself I'd never use. The last page wasn't blank. It had a name written in the corner. Not mine. Someone else's. Carefully, almost lovingly. The handwriting was mine. I had filled the pages. I had learned his habits, his cataloging, his way of watching. And then, without thinking, I did something I can't undo. I left a Polaroid on the counter, a close shot of a woman outside the station, filling her windshield washer. No note, just a red circle around this slash on the eye. I still wake up thinking about that, about how easily it happened, about how his name doesn't hold the same power anymore. Because when I say his name now, Paul, I don't just think of him. I think of what he left inside me. And if you ever hear a bell at night, if you ever feel eyes on you, don't just assume you're the one being watched. Sometimes the watched learns how to watch back.